on the scene, dripped in Celine, whole crew shining, call me Mr. Clean. Came in from the back, walked right to the front, dancing to the music, smoking on the got the women smiling, punk grilling me, looking all dusty, Black Force energy, I don't even drink, but the team pop bottles, not here for the beef, but the Glock holds hollows. Think I'm cocky, but I think I'm worse, in this flexing like a Mr. Universe.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, should Spence have taken a tune-up fight? So there are going to be a lot of excuses both ways at the end of this fight. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to talk about what some of the excuses may be and then address them and get them out the way before we make predictions. So Spence should have taken a tune-up fight. That's some of the things that you hear running around the internet. What are your thoughts on it? Should Spence have taken a tune-up fight, and will that play a major role on what happens during the fight? Trill Dollar Bill.
No. We got to get this fight. Both these guys been out of the ring long enough. Both these guys have been in there. Look, like I don't know. Can I say that? No, I can't. All right. This is what I'm gonna say. The fight took long enough for it to make it happen. All another tune-up fight would have did was prolong the fight even longer. I feel like EJ already had the best fights at welterweight. He has faced the best competition than he had the better competition than TC at welterweight at 147. I feel, you know what I'm saying? Like even after the whole situation where he was, you know, running from the homies, how he got into the car crash joint, you know, like even after that situation, he went in there with a puncher in Danny Garcia, and then he went in there with Ugas. That's enough. That's enough of tune-ups. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I think TC should have got a tune-up in there with like a bigger guy or somebody like that. If anybody, you know. But nah, I think EJ's good. Let's make this fight happen. Long as they didn't prolong it any longer. You know, we were supposed to have been had this fight before we got Ryan and Tank. Before we got all the other fights, we were supposed to have been had this fight.
All right, G.
Yeah, I agree with Trill. You know, that I don't believe he needs a tune-up. You know, like before the Danny Garcia fight, that was with his first car accident. And, you know, he dominated that fight, you know. And TC, size-wise, it is, you know, similar to size to Danny Garcia. You know what I mean? And TC has a more established resume fighting smaller guys. You know, no, excuse me. Spence has a more extensive resume fighting the smaller guys, but TC doesn't necessarily have that on his end of fighting a guy Spence's size. You know, so if anything, you know, and not to mention, you know, Spence is also a southpaw that I'm trying to think of. When was the last time TC fought somebody that was an actual southpaw? Not a switch hitter, but an actual southpaw. I can't even think of one. So I think if anything, TC will profit more off of a tune-up than Spence would. So I think Spence will be all right. I don't think Spence actually needs a tune-up for this fight.
All right, TBE.
Man, I'm tired of y'all bringing up the car accident, yo. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, man. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago, G. After that, Spence fought Garcia. Spence fought Ugas. Did he fight Sean Porter? Did he get in an accident after Sean Porter fight, before the Sean Porter fight? I don't know. But he fought Spence. He fought Ugas, Garcia, and Sean Porter.
All right, so just time out. You said he fought Spence. Now, when you said he fought Spence, are you saying Spence fought Spence? Because TC has never fought Spence. So,
yeah, he be in the gym. He be fighting demons. He fight himself every day, yo, just to get to the top.
I get you. I get what you're saying. He was fighting himself because he was drinking and he was dry speeding and all that. I got you.
Yes.
I got you, TV.
So, y'all keep bringing up this accident like Spence improved himself after the accident. He fought Garcia, Sean Porter, Ugas, and he's still on top. And you think, because TC's fighting on BT After Dark, and he's the best fighter ever? No, it's not happening. It's not happening. I don't see any way TC wins this fight. Go ahead, G.
Just, you do know, Spence had 2 car accidents, not just 1, 2. So even though you're like, yo, that was 4 years ago, but then he had another car accident.
When was that one?
Oh man, I don't know.
Let
Man.
him cook.
We literally talked about it.
Go ahead, Ned.
The car was flipping. Remember, we literally.
Now, one of them was
like 5 years ago.
One of them was bad. The other one was just a little fender bender.
Yeah, fender bender. The other one was the one where he got ejected.
When he was running for his life.
His jaw so strong. Like he survived a car accident where he got ejected. Come on now. Spence ain't worried about TC. I'm gonna be real with y'all. TC's been fighting on BT, MTV, YouTube, and what's that thing called? Pluto TV. He been fighting on Pluto TV. So it's like, yeah, fix your face, G. It's like, we know what it is right now. I'm not worried about this fight. I just put my money on Spence. I ain't gonna lie. And when it comes down to it, it's all said and done, we all gonna know who's gonna be the winner of this fight. The fighter who's been through more adversity than the fighter who's been like robbing Bob Arum, trying to play Al Heyman, trying to play Eddie Hearns, trying to play freaking all the promoters, trying to value themselves more than they are. So yeah, I may be naive, but at the end of the day, I look at the data and the stats, and I'm not worried. Spence shouldn't take a tune-up. Spence took more tune-ups than he needed to. When he got out that first accident, or second accident, because he's talking about there was a second accident that I don't know of. But Spence is more than prepared for TC. And TC, I don't know, this is the toughest opponent you faced in your entire career. So let's see what happens. At the end of the day, it's a toss-up. But I got my money on Spence.
Yeah. So I'm going to say what Trill said, but a different way. Earl's already taken his tune-ups. He beat Sean Porter. He beat Danny Garcia. He beat your Dennis Ugas. He beat all these guys. Those were his tune-ups. So he's already been in the big fights. He's already taken belts from other fighters. He's already put himself in a similar position. So he's prepared for this moment. Where you have Terrence Crawford, this is actually, for me, the first time I'm seeing TC in a fight where I felt like the opponent is a threat to him. When he fought Sean Porter, I thought Sean Porter was past his prime. I picked Sean Porter. I can already hear people saying that I picked Sean Porter, but that's because I felt like TC was finally upping his level of opposition. And if you look at that fight, TC was in a close fight with Sean Porter. His corner told him he was down. That's when he went out, turned up the pressure, and then that's when Kenny Porter made it the Kenny Porter show. But still, people talk about, oh, he was able to stop Sean. Earl never stopped Sean. Again, they act like Sean was out on his back, knocked out, and Sean was wobbly and the referee waved it. Sean was banging the canvas, stood up, was ready to go back out there, and his dad stood up and waved the towel. And everyone in the arena booed because they knew it was a bad stoppage. So let's not act like he stopped Sean. No, Kenny Porter stopped Sean. So there's that. Now you have Earl Spence, who he did drop Sean, and he did beat the brakes off Sean, and Sean has admitted that, you know, he wasn't the same fighter in the ring with Terrence Crawford that he was with Earl Spence. I think Earl's been preparing himself. So the irony of the argument that Earl needs a tune-up is I think he's had his tune-ups. And I think that he is prepared for this moment. And I do think if they would have taken tune-ups in between this fight, it only would have hurt the value of this fight because we were sick of it. We were sick of seeing them in the ring with other people. We wanted to see them in the ring with each other. So that was the only way that they were going to get the respect of the fans was to fight each other. So I think the fight is happening. Probably not at the peak time, but they couldn't delay it anymore. If they delayed it anymore, we would have been done with it. So I don't think that he needed a tune-up.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know you're rocking with. It's the Boxing Bros. Subscribe. No, for real. And let us know if they're not letting y'all get the notifications or not. It's crazy. Subscribe.